Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning. Today I want to talk about 24 hours of Uwharrie. Tons of questions coming in. I always feel like these videos are a little easier, a little quicker way to get you to answer the questions that you're asking. Let's see here. I made some notes. The dates. We're going to do 24 hours of Uwharrie at Adventure Summit. So the dates for Adventure Summit are October 27th through the 29th. The dates for 24 hours of Uwharrie, it's actually going to be the 28th and 29th. So 24 hours starts at noon on Saturday the 28th, and then it ends at noon on Sunday the 29th. Some of the teams are planning on coming down early, setting up, hanging out, enjoying Adventure Summit before the actual competition begins. So if you've got time and you can get away and do that, I highly recommend that. Adventure Summit's going to be mad this year. Obviously your entry fee for 24 hours gets you full access to everything that's going on at Adventure Summit. Second thing, price. The price for 24 hours is $195 per person. So if you've got a two-person team, you're at $390. So $195 a person. Got some teams that are talking about bringing a media person. Let me back up. So the $195 per person, per competitor, that includes your 24-hour shirt. I think it gets you a decal, and then obviously the chance to win some really great prizes. Then we've got some teams asking for, like, if they can bring a media person. I'm going to allow that. The media person is going to have to fill out a waiver, just like the competitors. And I want those people wearing a media shirt. So the media pass is $100. So if you've got two team members and a media person, the fee for that's $100, and that gives them the 24-hour media shirt for them to wear, so we can identify who's who at the competition. Media person, obviously, they don't have to be in the canoes. They don't do anything other than record the team's progress and photography and stuff like that. So $195 per person, competitor, and then $100 for each media person. Canoes. Lots of questions about the canoes. So in the past, we've had tasks or special tasks during the 24-hour competition that required you to take your canoe off, maybe do something silly with it. Strike a pose or put it in a creek or something like that. So we're not going to have any of that this year. So if there's a canoeing challenge, you're actually going to be in the boat canoeing. You're actually going to be in, there's no moving water. So it's going to be flat water like a lake or a pond, something like that. So if there's a canoe challenge, you got to get the canoe off and get in it and paddle. The canoes do have to be on your roof the entire time, from the start of the race at noon on Saturday till the end of the race at noon on Sunday. The canoe has to be up there the entire time, unless you got to take it off to do a challenge. We're going to use the canoes for our sponsor decals. So, if you got your own sponsors, you can put those on the vehicle, not on the canoes. Talking about sponsors and decals, we have a round, like a door sticker. We call them meatballs. That would be your team number, and that's how we identify who's who. So that'll be on your driver door, and passenger door is reserved for the Overlander Project 24 hours of Uwharrie meatballs. Canoes. If you don't have a canoe, we have some. We have some for rent. It's $75. That gives you a canoe, 2 paddles, and 2 PFDs for your team. Let me back up again. Some teams, if you want to have more than 2 people, that's allowed. You can have as many people as you want. Again, it's $195 per person. But remember, you have to have enough canoes for your entire team. So if you had 4 people on your team, can you get 4 people in a canoe? Will they physically fit? Yeah, probably. Do you stand a chance of sinking? Probably. So I don't think you want to carry 2 canoes on one vehicle, so keep all that in mind. You know, maybe if you had 4 people, you have 2 vehicles in your team. Any way you want to do it. The canoe rental does only include 1 boat, 2 paddles, and 2 life jackets. So if you're bringing like an extra person, you know, make sure you have a paddle and a life jacket for them. All right, moving on. Required items versus suggested items. Your vehicle's gonna have to go through tech inspection. So you're gonna have to have like a fire extinguisher, first aid kit, you know, a decent spare tire. You're gonna need tools to change a tire. So, you know, be certain that you have the right socket. Like if you have aftermarket wheels, you know, lots of times they'll use some kind of special socket, lug nut thingy. Make sure you have the correct socket that fits your lug nuts. Make sure it fits the vehicle and the spare tire. You know, make sure that you have a jack that'll get the vehicle off the ground. Factory jacks are perfectly fine. If you've got a lifted vehicle, you know, you may want to stuff a piece of wood in there to give your factory jack a little bit of height to reach the jack point. Lots of folks like high lift jacks. They're fine, they're bulky, but they're fine. Seems like the new craze is the Pro Eagle jack. We like those, they're lighter weight, safer, but just as bulky to store. So make sure you got a working jack. A winch. I think on the entry form it says it's required. It's not necessarily required. If you don't have one, you know, if there is a winching challenge, obviously you just have to take 0 for that challenge, 0 points. I think most people that are going to compete 24 hours, they have a working winch. So something to think about with your winch is, you know, some of you more seasoned off-roaders, you don't winch much. So check your winch before the competition. Make sure it works. Make sure you don't have a corroded lead going to your battery. You know, if you've got one of the remote winches, you know, make sure that the battery's charged on the actual worn remote. Make sure all that works well. I would probably go ahead and pull my winch line out, whether it's synthetic or it's wire rope. I'd pull that out, make sure you got a good, decent spool on it, and you don't have like a bird's nest or a bunch of crossed up cable. Lots of time that's a nightmare when it comes time to, you know, pull all your line out. So check all that before the competition. And think about, like, for suggested items, just think about a weekend of off-roading. You know, what do you need? Traction boards. You know, if you've got a set of those, whether it's Max Tracks or Action Tracks or an Amazon brand, you know, any of those seem to do the job. Some are higher quality, but I think they all work getting you out of the pinch. Recovery kit. You need a full, you know, you need a good recovery kit. You know, you're gonna need some kind of tow strap, whether it's kinetic or it's the old school, you know, just the webbing flat strap style. You need a tree saver and screw pin shackles or soft shackles, whichever one you prefer, or both. You know, whatever type of, you know, if you've got synthetic line, you need, you know, a synthetic line snatch block. You know, one of the new aluminum pulleys, you know, they're way easier and way lighter than the old mechanical snatch block. So you need a nice recovery kit, and make sure your straps are clean. Make sure all that stuff's working well. If you're still using the screw pin shackle style, you know, put a little dollop of WD-40 on there. Make sure all that stuff's working well. Let's see. We talked about the jack. We talked about the tools. You know, some people bring like a cordless impact. That's great. Those work fine. You know, if you have that, make sure you got a charged battery or 2 batteries. If you're still using, you know, the mechanical style, you know, it's fine. Make sure all those are what came with the vehicle if you're still using factory lug nuts. Talk about first aid kit. You got to have a valid tag. Don't bring some old beater in there, beat down that won't pass like a safety inspection. You need a valid tag and valid insurance to compete in 24 hours. The tire size limit is a 40-inch. We don't have different classes. We just have one class. And the 40-inch diameter tire is the limit. And you gotta have a street legal vehicle. Recovery kit, winch, tools for removing the spare. That's all I've got written down. If I didn't answer your questions, one more thing. Food. You know, you're gonna have like a base camp. When you arrive in Uwharrie, we're gonna be in that field located directly across the street from the El Dorado outpost. You're gonna pick a place to camp, whether you park your tow vehicle and trailer or you set up a tent. You know, that will be your base camp during operations. Now, I really don't honestly think you're gonna have time to cook. In years past, you know, competitors have used like, or they'll eat like granola bars, you know, nutrition bars, or they've pre-made some sandwiches. You know, you want to keep all that stuff within arm's reach, you know, whether it's in the console or, you know, bag on the floor, whatever. A lot of people choose to do the energy drinks, you know, whatever gets them through the 24 hours. So bring some good nutritious food, something you can eat on the fly. You need to bring plenty of drinking water, you know, to stay hydrated, stay focused. Energy drinks, whatever's your thing. I recently tried to stop, you know, drinking so many energy drinks, and I've been drinking those Athletic Greens. You know, it comes in a little small packet of powder, and I just put it in any water bottle. I love those. If you haven't tried them, you might ought to. They're good. The actual competition, forgot all about this, crazy. So you're gonna have 8 blocks of 3 hours. So 8 blocks of 3-hour time. So when 24 hours starts at noon on Saturday, that'll be 12 noon, and you're gonna go to 3 p.m. So we hand you what we call a scroll. It's rolled up, it's a piece of paper, and it'll have your task that you're gonna try to complete in those 3 hours. And we do that so that you can roll back into base camp every 3 hours and we can take a look at you. We can give your, you know, look over your rig, see how it looks. We can look at you, see how you look. You know, are you still physically in good shape? How are you mentally? That's the way it is. You'll come in at every 3 hours. So first stage, 12 noon to 3 p.m. You're gonna roll back in at 3 p.m. Don't be late, because you get penalized for that. So you're gonna give us your old scroll. You hand us that, and then we'll give you another one. That'll give you your task that you're gonna try to accomplish. You know, the second stage will be 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., so on and so forth. We do like to, for safety reasons, at the 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. segment, we'll give you a scroll that won't have as many tasks on it. There'll be tasks on it, but not many. So that'll give you time to take a cat nap or just chill out or rearrange your vehicle, whatever you need to do. This gives you a reprieve, if you will. So that's how that works. We try to do all the more critical stages early on, like the shooting. We want you to be able to shoot while you're sharp and fatigue hasn't set in. We are going to do like a 12 gauge skeet shoot, you know, from a regular thrower. We'll shoot an AR style 223. We're going to be using the 0 Delta their range ready setup. We'll shoot standard 223 for that. Probably around 5 shots per person. So a 2-person team, you know, driver will shoot 5 times, co-driver will shoot 5 times. Probably in all the gun portions. So you probably shoot that many skeet, shoot that many AR, and then like a 9mm handgun, shoot 5 rounds of that. We do have a range master, range official, Stephen Shaw. He'll be handling all parts of the shooting. He's been around guns forever. I think he and Moses from the Ark used to shoot together. All right, let's see. Talked about the shooting, we talked about the canoeing, navigation. You're gonna need some type of smartphone. You'll have to post on Instagram to prove that you were at certain waypoints, if you will. So maybe it's a selfie of you, your co-driver, and your vehicle at a certain point. You have to take a selfie, and then you have to post it, and you have to use a certain hashtag. That's how we will score the event. We have a remote scoring company that will take care of all that. So as you're going down your task and you figure out what you're gonna do, when you go to post it, be certain that your hashtag is correct. It has to be correct. If it's not, we won't see it. If we can't see it, you're not gonna get your points. So you're kind of doing the work for nothing. So make time to enter those hashtags correctly. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi hasn't been the best in the Uwharries. In years past, we've had teams, you know, would drive down towards Troy, you know, to get a little better signal, or they would drive up 109 north, you know, or go south towards Charlotte to try to grab some Wi-Fi. Take all that into consideration, whether you have, you know, T-Mobile, AT&T, or Verizon. You know, it seems like each one of those works a little differently than the other. In the past, we've all had access to the guest Wi-Fi at the El Dorado outpost. You know, teams would be over there parked in front of the outpost, you know, in the middle of the night, loading waypoints. I do know that the outpost has changed ownership. It used to belong to the Chris Cagle's family. They have sold it, and I don't know anything about the new owners and whether or not they have Wi-Fi for their guests or whoever to use. I don't know. I think that's it this time. If you have any questions, again, if I haven't answered them here in this video, reach out to me or comment below. I see all that stuff. You can reach me on all our socials. It's The Overlander Project on both Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to post this video on YouTube, so you can comment below. However you want to get to me, shoot me a message, I'll answer the question. We do have some teams that like to wait to the last minute. Don't do that. If you're thinking about doing it, hit me up. I'll get a small deposit from you to hold your team space. We can settle up later. You know, maybe you're the driver and you're waiting on your co-driver, or vice versa. Get me that confirmation that you want to have a team, so we can get that in the books. I think that's it, guys. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all at 24 Hours of Uwharrie. Out.